In this video, I'm going to show you exactly step by step how you can double your close rate as an online coach in the next 30 days or less. It's the same process that Lee used to go from 18% close rate before he hired me to now, just 30 days later, a 46% close rate. It's also how Ryan tripled his close rate and went from $15,000 a month to $50,000 a month.
I definitely tripled the close percentage. It depends on which of those months you're comparing it to, because you could also say I quadrupled my close percentage based on some of those months before.
And it's the same 3 steps that Eric used to do his first ever $50,000 month.
And then I had my highest month ever where I broke 50 for the first time.
So in order to double your close rate as an online coach, there's 3 things that you need. The first is you have to adopt this mindset of going to war for your prospect. You have to understand that your prospect is on the call because they genuinely need your help. But at the end of the day, your brain is designed to keep you safe, not happy. So when it gets to the end of the call and you tell them your program is $2,000, $5,000, $20,000, their brain kicks in and says, holy shit, that's a lot of money. And it's designed to keep them safe, not happy, but ultimately investing in your program is what's going to make them happy. So what most coaches do is they kind of just give up. They don't know how to handle objections, and they really don't hang in the buying pocket to overcome these objections and ultimately enroll this prospect. You have to hold your prospect to a higher standard. I read a great book a long time ago called Sell or Be Sold. And the concept of the book was you're either selling your prospect into your program, into transformation, and into the life, the business, the career that they want, or they're selling you on why they can't afford it, why their spouse will say no, why they don't have the time for it. You want to be the one selling your prospect into transformational change, not allowing your prospect as a lower version of themselves selling you on why they can't make the investment. It's a simple mindset shift of going to war for your prospect, because at the end of the day, sales is service, and it's your duty as an online coach to serve your prospect at the highest level, even if that means hanging in the buying pocket, having some uncomfortable conversations, but ultimately getting them to move in the direction that's going to lead them to happiness and change rather than safety and stagnation. The second thing that you need to do to double your close rate in the next 30 days or less is the ability to ask better questions. I teach this to everybody I come in contact with, and it's that people will gauge your level of intelligence based on the quality of the questions that you ask, not the statements that you make. Inside of your sales call, there's this really beautiful and super critical component that lasts about 20 to 30 minutes that I call discovery. Discovery is basically like a game of ping pong. I'm going to ask a question, my prospect's going to give me an answer. I'm not going to make any statements. I'm just going to continue to ask more intelligent and deeper questions so I can fully assess their situation, which gives me the ability to prescribe a solution, but it also gives them the confidence that I know where they're at, where they're struggling, and where they're looking to go. Most coaches just get on calls and start making statements. They start telling their prospect, oh, I can help you. I worked with this other client. Oh, you're struggling. Don't worry. All my clients struggle with that same thing, and they actually lessen the pain, and the prospect doesn't feel seen, heard, or understood. It's kind of like if a doctor walks in, they poke your arm, they're like, it's broken, you need surgery. It's like, well, hold on. You didn't take the time to spend really diagnosing the situation. But if a doctor, on the other hand, walks in and spends 10, 15, 20 minutes twisting, turning, asking questions, getting educated, now when they say it's broken and you need surgery, you what? You believe them. So taking the time to do a thorough discovery is what ultimately builds the confidence in your prospect to buy. And it also builds the confidence that you're intelligent, you care about their situation, and you're the best person to fix it. And number 3, which might be a little controversial and against the grain of what other people in the industry might tell you, number 3 is raising your prices. If you want to double your close rate in the next 30 days or less, you need to raise your prices like yesterday. People inherently associate value with cost. If I asked you, hey, is a McLaren a nice car? 99% of people would say, yeah, absolutely. But those same people have no idea where it's made, what type of paint they use, how the rims are created, how long it takes, is it done by hand, is it on an assembly line? They have no idea. They just know that a McLaren comes with a $200,000 to $300,000 price tag, so they kind of just assume it's a good vehicle. When in reality, McLarens have a ton of problems, and there's a long string of history of them actually not being that nice of cars. But because they have a price tag of a couple $100,000, we all just say, yep, absolutely, they're fantastic. So the same thing happens in your coaching business. If you charge more money, people inherently associate that with being a really good program. If you're so confident that you can help me lose weight and get in the shape of my life, which is going to help me with my energy, with my spouse, keeping up with my kids, and a million other things, why is it only $2,200? Why is it only $3,000? Why is it only $3,500? If you're so good at what you do, in my mind, why is it so inexpensive? Are you new? Do you not have a bunch of case studies and testimonials? Do you not have a proven process? Like, now I'm just a little confused. So when you raise your prices, people inherently assume that it's a really, really good program, which ultimately compels them to buy. People would rather spend more money on the right thing than less money on the wrong thing. So raising your prices raises your close percentage despite what everybody else on the internet will tell you. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of coaches over the last 5 years, and every single time, 100% of the time, out of the hundreds of people I work with, there's not one single case where somebody raised their price and their close percentage went down. In fact, it's been 100% the opposite way, where 100% of the time when you raise your price, your close percentage raises with it. So in order to double your close percentage in the next 30 days or less in your online coaching business, you need 3 things. Number 1, you need to adopt the mindset of going to war for your prospects. Number 2, you need the skill and the ability to ask better, more intelligent questions. And number 3, you need to raise your prices.